Okay,
Morning, Joe.
there we go.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought I got something that said 10 and I wrote to you, Nina, and I said, "Oh, I thought this was at 7:30."
And I wrote you back and I said that 10 o'clock is interfaith and 7:30 was this other meeting, the visioning.
Okay. Okay. I
You
I
received that email?
I didn't because I've been working the election all day until 7 at
Uh,
night. Okay, sorry.
okay. Okay. Are you with us?
I am with you. Oh,
Okay.
Are
there
you
we
at
go.
the election place now?
No, 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 no. No. I'm doing it
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, and then today I get Rafi at 8:30 and then I do it again on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the floor is yours for your thoughts,
Okay. Um,
and we're recording this because you
oh
had
my.
said that you wanted to speak to Rev Deb, and she couldn't
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
So we thought your words directly from you to her would be better recorded than us telling her what you said.
Sure, sure. Well, for Reb Deb, what I want to say, Reb Deb, that I know that you are a Musar Dick person, and so you know what humility is. Humility is knowing how much space to take, and I wish you would take more space. And when you're challenged or when you're having a hard time just getting into the conversation, push forward because I think your ideas are valuable and creative and open. And I've seen where when you when you have a hard time getting in, and I can see it, you kind of keep trying to get in, you will withdraw. And I think that doesn't that denies the group some great ideas. In general, what I would say about the organization is that I think it's been really sensitive to changes in priorities, and that's how we got into the Scholars Circle. And so, as a small group, we're able to change directions, add add priorities, and respond to that rather quickly. And I saw that really in the use of social media, which I think has been very good for the organization, that there was a need to enhance what we're doing and not only the flexibility, but the frequency and I really respect that in a larger organization. I mean, and the branding, to add something and say we're a resource, we're the resource center. Working for a large organization like JCC, I'm just used to this kind of thing taking so much longer. And so it's really great that if a small group decides to move in this direction, we're able to do that in a very timely manner. One of the things I became aware of as I teach is my at first what I would feel to be the need to update the curricula. And I brought that up, and it was explained to me, and then I understood it. These curricula are specifically not updated. We're bringing up values, and I mean, I'm going to use my own words. What I realized is that we're bringing up values and traditions that are timeless and more or less counting on people to bring up topical issues and relate them to people's lives now. And what I think might be valuable, because I always do it, is to be more upfront about that. Maybe in the digital, even in the digital things that you'll note the absence of topical issues, i.e., and it can be updated frequently, i.e., the war in Gaza or the anti-Semitism or whatever, climate change, whatever. This is we encourage you. We encourage you to relate these curricula to those issues, and the omission is to give you the freedom to relate to whatever time period or issue that you wish to. I think, and it was on my mind because the other day I was at a Musar, was talking to my chavruta, and she said, Do you see the copyright of this? This is like, it was from Alan Morenis, and it was something like 2013. She said, I mean, that was 11 years ago. It seems like if they're going to charge us, and that isn't really an issue with us, they should be updated. And
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily agree with her, but it brought up the issue that perhaps, and so I thought that that was a really easy thing to do, to explain, gosh, why aren't they talking about X, Y, and
Mhm.
Z? So that's one of the main things that I would think about, that I know that I had some issues with. And then it became not an issue because I understood that that was on purpose, that was purposeful. I do think that for today's audiences, sometimes if you don't come as an educator, I mean, it became more clear to me that this is to do these curricula as they're exactly as they're written. I think they're very wordy. You know, for a visual audience, people are more visual now. There's lots and lots and lots of words, and so again, it speaks to that we provide the skeleton, and if you want to add more visuals, etc. But these are timeless issues. So I'm really kind of saying the same thing for what I want was form as well as content. Regarding the general outreach, as you know, I think Lev and I experience the same thing. When you're doing these cold calls, or not even cold calls, but calls to people who you know have both gone through both COVID and now what's going on in the Middle East, it's very difficult to add something else. I don't know a way around that. I really don't. And I see the group actively wrestling with that in a way that's very powerful. I I wonder if, I know you're going to or have gone, I don't know if it was last week, to New Cage, I think, right? I don't know if we still do that.
Mhm.
You know, is there a way to not only, and so that seems to be a way, and I know we do that. I know that Nina does that, and I'm sure that you've done that. It seems like a way for people who are looking, who are taking the time to really look at curriculum and not just kind of be on autopilot. So I don't know a better outreach. I keep thinking that the most effective thing is in person. It's the same thing you're talking about, finding that person who is embedded in the community. How do you do that? And I think we're doing sort of the best we can with Nina's listening tours. I mean, she's getting into cities, she's trying to connect and getting with the people who may connect with other people. I don't really know how to be more aggressive about that. So there's that. And oh wait, what was I going to say? Oh, well, I'm going to reiterate that you know, another issue in terms of us being able to move on a dime compared to larger corporations. I really do think that white Christian nationalism is a thing, and I don't know if, and a scholar circle is a perfect place. And I have thought about people who are good about that, but I don't think I've really landed on someone who I would say, why don't you call this person? But you know, I'm hearing more and more and more about it,
Mhm.
and you know the Trump's Friday rally where he says, where he was at a Christian place and he said, I love you Christians. I'm Christian. I love you Christians. You know, yes, do you endear yourself to the audience? Yes, but I think that's become a buzzword, Christian. And
Mhm.
that's a real scary thing that's just
Mhm.
interlaced with the whole anti-Semitism, anti-Black, anti-everything
Mhm.
except that.
Mhm.
And that those are my main issues. I agree with Deb that that our that the 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 media, the doing online, the online courses have been very effective. That seems to be the area of greatest growth. I'm not sure of statistics, so I may not be speaking right, but that seems to be where people want to go, even though people like us who are on this all the time are getting tired of being online. I wish there was a way to engage the people who've been with us. We try to get the people who are engaged with us for a long time to start their own groups, but maybe it's being more aggressive and saying, may I call you personally? And will you give me the name? And can I use your name? Okay, John Smith told me to call you. We'd really love to see this, you can speak to her or join her in one of our groups, something like that, to use people more. And we're doing that. I mean, we try to do that. I don't know if there's a more aggressive way to do it. People just are not stepping up, and now a lot of the people who would step up are getting involved in the political campaigns. That's how they're using their time. There's lots of reasons why this doesn't work, but it continues to be a priority. Like, how do you get the people even? And that's why I loved the movie thing. It seemed real easy, real easy. By the way, I was looking on another organization. I don't know if it was Jubilong or what, but they were offering free high flicks to people
Mm.
if they
Oh,
join.
Times of Israel.
Could be.
The Times of Israel has an offer of
$50.
$60.
Yeah.
$60 to join the Times of Israel, and you'll get a year free HiFlex.
It might be more than that.
Maybe they're doing it with other people.
I think they are. I think they are, and we need to
Mhm.
consider that. That.
Mhm.
And so the other issue was, if we give them, our federation has a grant program called Just Because. Did we talk about this? That maybe it's happening other places? And they give relatively small amounts for getting people together. It's enough to pay for popcorn and beer. And so, but there would have to be more than just the movie. If you can pull them together 3 times, if you can, and it's not a lot of money. It's just, have people at your house and we're going to pay for your food. That may be an easy thing. And we talked about that. We sort of fleshed that out. But I really sort of support that. I don't sort of support that. I think that's a great idea. And I think there are times, I'm going to say this, that I'm the Kansan, and I think our meetings might be able to be shorter and more on point. But that's because I don't live in the East, and it's okay. It's like I just kind of, my mind goes to Panama, and we're talking about kosher delis and things like that. That's not a big deal. But you said go ahead, don't hold anything back, and there are times that I feel that way. But it's not so much that it so much irritates me. But there could be that. And those are really my main my main thoughts. The big thing is we need to make people know, why are the curricula not bringing up current events issues, because they're digital and we could easily, but we choose not to, and that's for a reason. And it may be that that we, when we know of an issue, we add to an email, here are some of the issues you might be thinking about, and here's some sources you might be looking at as you're looking at the fall. That's getting it more work than we might want to do, but it does. But the other is easy to do. That's the main thing.
Do you think we've outgrown ourselves as an organization? Do you think we have what do you think our mission? I think about this, like there's so much online learning now. There's so many opportunities. When we started 14 years ago, there wasn't a lot that you could really access. You could do Melton, but that was like a 2-year commitment.
Right.
You had to go to Spertus or, Gratz or, to really take courses. There wasn't a lot of kind of small group learning. We were very much in the forefront of that whole movement. It seems to me part of our issue, part of our challenge is that there's so many opportunities now for small group learning and online learning and all the movements, like they have their own materials now. JTS offers different kinds of, they all offer stuff now. Do you think the organization, we've just outgrown that whole, things have changed? Do you think that we have to well, let me put it this way. The strength of us is that we have pivoted, and so we have sort of pivoted away from that even recruiting groups. I think we're not putting that much energy. I mean, little, but not a ton. Where I don't know what our numbers are. Michael Lee knows that better, but it's not great. Oh, we used to boast 100 groups a year. I'm sure we're not anywhere near that. But now we're doing work with Elisa Felder, and we're doing the Scholar Circle, and we're doing and we're thinking about this interfaith stuff. We're doing it in a different way, which speaks to your idea that we can pivot. But do you think we've basically outgrown ourselves?
When I am in a group, and I know it's not just me, it is so clear that it's nourishing for the participants. So I think people still need that. And again, the difference between us and most online is that
Mm-hmm.
we invite that personal sharing. And the other group that the other two groups I'm in, Ayeka, Arye does that. I mean, he specifically invites the sharing of intimacy. But that's and Musar in Avad, they do. But otherwise, maybe I'm just not accessing them. I see it mostly frontal, like, okay, I get to hear, um, you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and so yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can gather information.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so uh, so I'll keep using Chai Mitzvah. I mean, for sure, I'll keep using it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it seems like now more than ever, people do need to, they want to talk about how they're feeling and not just shrying, not just like, ick, 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 everything's bad, but to relate, like I keep coming back to business ethics, which I've never taught, so I haven't found a group, but I keep thinking that for a cohort that maybe Michael Lee's son's age or and daughter's age, then they're disgusted with all the corruption that I don't know, like you can't, that power corrupts and absolutely corrupts, etc. Okay, well, as you gain power, as you gain authority, as you matriculate through the business world, don't forget this. This relates directly to, and the idea of being able to use case studies and really you be the judge kind of thing. What should happen here? What would you do when these two commandments, these two debrot conflict? Where are you going to, are you going to be a whistleblower? I mean, that's a big one. That's like almost a cliche, but so the answer is, I don't think so. Is it a case of packaging that? How to, like, how to, I hadn't really, thought about this specific question. So I'm thinking now, how to find joy and hope. And you can get a lot of that, you can get there's a lot of that, but what do you do in your life? And I keep just coming back to that one. I would just love to do that when I need to find a group to do that, to talk about, and they would talk about the generational differences, and they would talk about, I have it in my mind, maybe I'm fantasizing, but to grow and grow and grow. The one thing
Mm-hmm.
is, we empower lay people, and so by definition, it will not be as it's a possibility that, I mean, it's completely dependent on the skill. Okay, it's dependent on the skill of the person. So now when you're getting experts, you're getting Erica Brown, you're getting, I mean, all the people in
Mm-hmm.
our scholar circle, how do you combine that with, how do you get the best people to do these. I mean, now there's online therapy and all that. How do you do that? Well, that's then you don't do it, then it's not affordable unless they are,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
The other pieces, synagogues are really, really, really trying to do relational Judaism. I don't know if they're doing a good job, um, but it does feel like this is a great thing for synagogues. And I wish, and I didn't hear back. I mean, I wrote to him again. I would love to like be in a partnership. I don't know if Ron, the person doing relational Judaism, my memory is gone. Um,
Ron Wilson.
yeah, Wolfson. Um, how to how to incorporate that? How to make sure that you're not just cheerleading synagogues, but you're leaving them with something. Try this. I mean, it would be such a great partnership to visit synagogues and say, "Can I speak to your synagogue on a Friday night and talk about small groups?"
Mhm.
And then actually run a small group and then see if there's a leadership development person on your board who will run a small group. Michael Lee, you're most familiar with the workings of the synagogue. I know how mine's working. And, we have small groups and they're very vibrant. We have like 30 of them. Um,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, they're amazing. I mean, but they're things like anything from movies to walking to coffee to whiskey and cigars. And
Mhm.
then there's two of us who are doing Jewish ones, and we'll get our
Mhm.
12 people.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
it's a
Mm.
sadness to me that rabbis who who don't have to do this, but who know who can do it.
Mhm.
I don't know how to get them to do that. Um,
Mhm. Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And do we do that for them? But they'd have to pay us to do that
Mhm.
group. Do we
Mhm.
offer
Mhm.
ourselves up to do that?
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Mhm. I want to ask you another question that maybe maybe you'll feel uncomfortable, but in terms of how we function as a group, my leadership style, and what's been good and what's been frustrating, and what do you think? Do you, in terms of, I don't know, do we need another staff person? What do you, if you focus on the organization and the group dynamic and all of that?
I'll bet you're a wonderful bubby. You are kind and over generous. I don't know if the rest of you know, I think I brought it up, but at one time, not so long ago, I called Audrey and I said, I don't think I'm contributing enough to get the salary that I get. I mean, I'm making calls, but I feel like if when I leave, here's what you will miss. You'll miss some good ideas. That I do bring that for consideration, for adaptation, and you said, no, I wanna keep you on. And I felt like you're too generous to me. Truly. I mean, I was not being coy. Um, Coming to the meetings and adding, some new ideas just because I feel like I'm still the newbie. Um, like, should you have said, but here's what I want you to do. I need for you to show me X context or what, da, 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 da. And it's all there. I mean, it is all in Google. I keep everything in Google. Um, so I felt like you were overly generous to me. And that's what worries me about getting a new person. Like, what are they going to add specifically? Um,
So I'm
I
not tough enough. I'm
I
not
think
tough
in
enough on
some
my
ways with
staff.
me, I felt like you weren't. I thought, this is great money. Really not adding, and I don't think I'm succeeding. And I don't know if it's me or if someone's not
Uh-huh.
pushing me hard enough.
Uh-huh. They
But
used to say that about how I raise my kids too.
oh well, then okay, so you're a softie. Okay, so let's just say you're a softie. I've already mentioned for Deb. Deb needs to. Deb has been my opinion is Deb has been very successful. What I would say to Deb, if she were here, Deb, I'm going to say this to you. It is not hard to know how to do a PowerPoint. You disempower yourself, you slow yourself down by waiting for someone else to do that for you. trust me, I'm older. I mean, I think I'm the oldest one, just turned 70. If I can do it, you can do it. You and that would add to your arsenal of tools, and you wouldn't have to wait for, for Nina and make appointments with Nina and all that. Nina, you may enjoy it. You may love doing it. So
We bounce ideas back and forth together, and I think we each bring something different to the mix. Like I have one point of view, she has another point of view, and I actually love working with Deb, and I love doing the PowerPoints, and
But
I
Nina, that's not her point. Her
I'm just
point,
saying that
Nina,
I think
okay, if I'm too generous, Nina is uber generous with her talent and time. She will never say no to anyone. Nina is the ultimate people pleaser. So, that wasn't the point. The point is that Reb Deb needs to be able to do
what I'm
this.
saying is we actually feel like we have a good I feel like the product is better when it comes from two places and we collaborate. So Deb, I'm sure could do it herself. Sometimes you'll ask me, Deb, to send you something I already sent you and I get grouchy. But generally speaking, I feel like we have a community event coming up about butterflies and we worked on it together and we each found different ways to look at it. And I feel like we each bring different stuff to it and the product is better when we work on it together. I do. Not to say she shouldn't do PowerPoints, but
Yeah.
I feel like we each bring a different thing to the mix.
and I may not even be talking about the creation of the PowerPoints because you're a graphics person, but the doing, like the evening of. And this is just me. Deb, you may say, because Deb, you've already made it clear, you really, this is not where you want to put your energies and your brain power, etc. That better it should be in the spiritual, etc. And I'm just saying, it's just so easy. If someone sends you a PowerPoint, it's so easy to do it, to let people in, etc. And it may feel very empowering. No, I think, running the ideas and all that, that's a beautiful thing. And I would never deny you, Nina, the opportunity, because, that allows you to lend your expertise. And I know you love doing the graphics. But the night of, it just feels like you and me, Deb, we have to do this, and again, it's a way to use your voice. I just have so much respect for what Deb offers, and I just would like to see, hear you more. And Michael Lee, I have every respect for, the statistics you do, and I mean, I that's a to- that's a what you call it set, a skill set that I don't have, and again, like Deb, have no interest in, but I'm interested in the results. I mean, that's important. You're the one who kind of keeps us honest. I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, you can make them lie, but you know what I'm saying. And so I would, yeah, so if you got another person, gosh, I wish it would be, you know, I wish it would be someone who would be like the itinerant nurse who says, "I'm going to travel for you. I'm going to be so embedded in this organization that I know it and love it as much as the four of us do. And I'm gonna, kind of do what Nina does, but I'm gonna stay in a place for a week. I'm gonna do that, and maybe it's like one town a year. It's what you're looking for. I mean, it's what you are looking, that maybe we take one town, kind of like we tried to do in the Southeast and then the Southwest. I'm just going to stick around. I'm going to run several groups. We're going to identify New Orleans, and that's the place we're going to land. And I'm going, but will you get 30 groups? No, I don't think so. Will you get 5 groups? Yeah, probably. Will it sustain itself? I'm not sure, but hopefully.
She's saying boots on the ground.
Well, what?
And
Actually, the Ignite program, that's actually maybe what you're saying is take
yeah,
or and put it more into Ignite. And that's kind of what I think Audrey's been thinking
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, look, I have to tell you, here I am trying to work Portland, Maine. it's been the most frustrating experience. I have spoken to every congregation. This rabbi is away. That rabbi doesn't want to see me, doesn't have any time. The federation director is changing. This congregation has no rabbi right now. I mean, I don't know if Portland is particularly like in flux, but I've really made very little headway. I've spoken to a lot of people trying to, and so I have a contact that I'm going to pursue. I'm going to go. There's like a little Jewish museum and they're doing a little Holocaust thing on Thursday. I'm going to go there and see if there's interest in the movie and what we're working on with 10 Strong. But in general, I've really tried to like make contact. Nobody wants to see me. And in my, it's hard work. So I think you're right in that you need to actually, first of all, it can't just be me going into Portland. It has to be, you have to find the Ignite model, somebody in Portland who you can pay to do this, who knows Portland. And I have some connections because I have some friends that live in the area, so who are involved in the Jewish community. And I have to go that route because when you plop into a city for a week, like it is amazing to me. Like if I were the federation director and somebody from another town was there, had some new programming, I would make 20 minutes to speak with them just to find out. Like I'd be curious, for a new resource to comes into a town like this. I'm amazed how many people do not have that curiosity.
Well, and that's what I was hired to do, really, to ignite the Ignite program,
Mm-hmm.
where I say, I haven't. I mean, I have
Yeah.
not been
Well, you've
successful.
done it in Kansas City because you see the difference between your work in Kansas City. Every time you meet somebody, you're always thinking, is there a connection here? And you're the perfect Ignite person for Kansas City. You're not the perfect Ignite person for Portland, Maine.
Yeah. That's why, this person, if you hired another person, would have to do that work in advance. I've got to have a partner who will give me 3 days or something like that,
I
who,
know. I'm telling you, when you come into a city, I'm amazed at the lack of curiosity. And I've done this now, just what you said, on all my travels, I've made all kinds of efforts in every little city that I visited to meet with people. And it's like pulling teeth. Like
so
you
the other question
think.
is, we are on social media. Is there a way to like absolutely blitz and put in more and more and more money into advertising? I don't know, so that it becomes like
So
the,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but this is $1 million question. Like but I also think, and Michael East talked about this too, and I've heard this a lot from these rabbis, is that the rabbinate has really changed. Um, Rabbis are doing more pastoral counseling, more life cycles. They're just not they're struggling. Congregations are struggling to just build up their membership again after COVID, and there's just they're not thinking about small group learning as much as they
They're
used to.
not, right. They're not thinking about learning. That's not the number one
Mm,
priority in any synagogue right now, unless
mm,
they already have a large enough membership. What
mm,
synagogues are doing right now, it's all gathering community.
mhm,
And it's not learning per se, it's the book groups, it's the cooking. It's like we now have wind down Thursdays where there's
mhm,
somebody playing some sort of music, for the summer every Thursday outside. Um, it's BYOB. And so it's just gathering the membership in the same place
mhm,
and getting reconnected. And that's all I've
mhm,
heard is that's what everybody wants, just
mhm,
more social
mhm,
programming, not
mhm,
necessarily learning. There are some small
mhm,
group learning things going on, but it's definitely the older population.
mhm, mhm,
Well, that's what's happening here anyway.
mhm, mhm. But I think that's what I'm feeling,
Mhm.
that there's just not that much enthusiasm for hunkering down with a 10-week curriculum.
People aren't
Uh,
making commitments.
Yeah, that's another issue. But yeah, so that's what I go back to. Have we outgrown, or are we not in the moment for this kind of program? And because we've determined that maybe we're not in the moment for this kind of program, that we need to be doing other things as an organization. And I can tell you that the work that we did with Elisa Felder in bringing her book and doing this workbook with her has been incredibly rewarding, both for us as the process of doing it and also for her. She wrote this book, but she had no idea how to make it alive. And we've given her this amazing gift.
Yeah, I love my favorite email when she said you really brought the topic to life, since the topic is
Yeah. So that's sort of pivoting our, and the Scholar Circle. We lost the ability to give grants to colleges, and that was our in, to be able to give grants to the students, and so they would do the curriculum. Unfortunately, without money to give grants, we are less effective in getting our curriculum into the schools. And we just don't have that. We don't have that key that is the grants. And so we pivoted to Scholar Circle, and that has been, I mean, the numbers are amazing. Over 1,000 people have listened to our lectures, right? Or 1,000, close to 1,000. I mean, that's been an amazing thing. So I think, to your point about pivoting, but also to my point about asking the question, is I get it, when the groups happen, they're magical. But as an organization, is that where we need to be putting our time?
Well,
Because it's so hard.
yeah, they're not financially sustainable. I mean, that's not a big enough part, and so maybe it is looking at the next big thing. So
Mm-hmm.
recording, I'm going to say it again, white Christian nationalism. I mean, that you
Mm-hmm.
absolutely have to get on that. That's so relevant. What's the next big thing?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, Israel, Palestine, there's so many organizations doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we are a political organization. I
Yeah.
think we are a values organization. And I think one of the things that is an important value is um is valuing a person above, or and value ideas above a moment, because everything we do is relevant to every moment. So what you said in the beginning is what we were talking about yesterday, Audrey, remember, with the 10 times stronger. We don't pick a single thing that's going on. We pick something that's going on in here and that you can use to handle what's going on outside.
But actually, we were talking just the opposite yesterday with 10
Well,
Strong.
what
We
I
said
was
we need to like
was
relate the debear to the moment, and
right.
to
But what
right.
I was saying was what Jill was saying. We
Mm-hmm.
can't pick a moment. We can pick um something that's happening. Like there's a lot of anti-Semitism, but we can't pick when that guy in LA got shot or whatever.
Okay.
We have to pick how,
Well,
you know what
I'm
I'm
going to
saying?
push back on that. I don't know, because this isn't just a moment. This isn't just like, oh, there's the Federation came out, you remember, 20 years ago with intermarriage, and everybody got all like hoopla about, okay, how are we going to deal with, intermarriage, or how are we going to deal with, um, you know, Jews who are nuns, they're religious. I mean, they're spiritual but not religious. Those are moments that are over. They're moments. They're ideas, or their findings. But this is a moment. I mean, Israel is in an existential war for survival. This is just not a moment. This is a crisis. This is
Right.
a this is like, and people, I think people are just consumed with this right now. I mean, there are people who are consumed with it, and then there are people who are oblivious to it. Like, this is not our war.
No, I'm
But
agreeing with you about what you're saying about that. And it's not a moment, but exactly what you're saying is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying we can't pick 1 second out of this moment. We have to pick,
Mhm.
you know,
Uh-huh.
our
You mean not a specific incident, but
exactly. That's what I'm
the
trying to say.
idea of,
The issue,
Exactly.
the
uh,
incident.
mhm,
Exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this has been so amazing, so valuable and so amazing. I so appreciate your candid and your thoughts because I know you didn't value I know I'm going to say to you what you said to Reb Deb is that you undervalue what you bring to an organization. You are a great thinker, you are articulate, and you've always challenged and brought other points of view to us,
Yeah.
to all of us, and I think you shouldn't undervalue that. And so it wasn't just out of the kindness of my heart that I said, "Oh, poor Nebuch," you know.
Thank you.
Jill, we're going to keep you on because, I'm too lazy to like guide you to anything else. In
Wasn't that?
defense of myself, I would like to say,
No, I do value my own strategic planning ability.
yes,
You know, that
yes,
I will always bring
not
ideas.
everyone can do that.
But in
And,
terms
and
of
I,
producing, outputs, that's,
yes, but
you
you see, outputs are hard.
know,
And, if our board is just going to evaluate us on number of groups, we're sunk. If that's their criteria, if the only output they evaluate us on is how many groups have you started or how many people have you know what I mean? Then I
mhm.
think we are not destined for a future. We've got to make the case that we've got to constantly evaluate what we bring to the table. Um, but and then another thing I'd like to say in defense of my leadership is that if I have to micromanage a staff member and if I don't believe that people are doing their work, I have the wrong staff member because that's not my style. Like I just can't bring myself to micromanage women or people who are our age who are in a position and not giving it their all. Like
I,
it's, you know what I mean? I have to believe that. When I lose faith in that, then I really can't work with that person because I don't micromanage people. I don't want to micromanage people. I want people to do their 100% because that's what they do. And maybe I raised my kids that way too. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I'm just not, that's not my style, And I had a friend who once said to me, they used to like say I was a little too lax with my kids. And then she said to me, but your adult children speak to you and my kids don't. So, so maybe there's a payoff. I don't know. But anyway,
what I
but
think
I appreciate your candidness.
to me, thank you, is that High Mitzvah makes me a better person. I mean, it really does because I think about my life now. And I mean, the Ten Commandments, okay, we talked about Nitzan, not so great, but do I think about those Ten Commandments every day? Honest to God, I do every day. And what's expected of me right now? Now, I do the trifecta, the Ten Commandments, the Ayeka, the Musar. My God, I'm trying here. So I'm
Mhm,
unusual, okay?
mhm,
Like we are unusual. We have curiosity about that. But
mhm,
people, I think, they do want to be able to put left in front of right today. And that's hard.
mhm,
You want to
mhm,
keep walking. And how do you do that? How do you put perspective on things? So that and that's why I was talking about the joy. How do I keep on keeping on? And I think I keep on keeping on because I know on Wednesday I'm going to see my friends and we're going to talk about this yuck, but we're
mhm,
going to talk about it in a way that tethers us, that
mhm,
grounds us, that inspires us. And again, that has to do with and makes us laugh. And these are we can take time to laugh during our sessions and so will that ever go
mhm.
out of style? That's a sad fact. Is it a good business model? I don't know. I don't know.
We haven't run upon another multimillionaire that just wants to fund us so we can do our work. Now we're in a situation where we have to prove ourselves to people who don't know us. And that's my challenge. Articulating who we are, what we do, and why it's important to fund us. And even the other thing is Judaism's becoming, I want to say this, a lot more corporate, because we're finding like Hadar has a $12 million budget. They are doing all kinds of things. And they're like a big organization. And we saw the Jewish Education Project. They're like swallowing up a lot of the small little things. I mean, Hadar gave a proposal. We'll buy all your materials from you, but we don't want you. That's what they said to Scott. And they don't need us. They just want to buy up our materials, use them for whatever, and then do their own thing. So we can't go up against Hadar. I mean, we just don't have the resources.
And the cynical person in me says, if they want to buy the materials, bury them, and they've eliminated a competition.
That could be too.
You know, just
And
buy
their
you-
materials, like I look, Nina and I talk about their youth materials. They're
Boring.
horrible, just completely horrible for your average kid. You know, they're like totally off base when it comes to where your average 12-year-old is in terms of their learning, in terms of their ability to handle text and everything. So anyway, yeah.
Has everybody in the group had an opportunity to weigh in, you know, and say the same things like, Michael Lee, do you think that we have outgrown, that we have become irrelevant or redundant or not needed?
Are you asking me to answer the question?
If I
Sure.
had the opportunity, yeah, I would.
I don't think that we're irrelevant, and I've said this many, many, many times, is we pivot so well, which you have always said, but we need to define success differently. We cannot define our success by the number of groups that are running, because I believe there's people that are using our materials and in different ways, and they're not registering. I think that, again, our statistics prove that we are relevant. We are doing what we're doing in different ways. We have changed, and our statistics prove that. We have thousands of people have come to the Scholar Circle lectures and have downloaded them, and things, but the world has changed, and we have to change with that. And I think the board itself needs to understand that we are not the same organization that we were 13, 14 years ago because of COVID. People have changed the way they want to engage and the way they find community. And with everything that's happening, the world has changed. Synagogues have changed the way they do business. So we adapted to that. So our success is different than what it was pre-COVID. We're not going to hit the 100 groups. My stuff is on the other side of the table, but I think we have 67 groups this year. We're a
that's not
quarter
bad.
down. No,
Yeah,
it's
I thought that
about the
was
same
better.
as last year. No, it's
Yeah, but
about the same
that's
as last
better
year.
than I thought we had.
So
I thought
good.
we had like 10.
So
No.
you knew we didn't have 10.
No, I really thought that's a pretty good number, I thought.
Okay,
Well, I
so
think.
the point being is we're 20, let's say at 25%
Mm-hmm.
below this 100
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
threshold,
Mm-hmm.
but I shouldn't say but. No, you're not supposed to say but, you're supposed to say and.
Mm-hmm.
We are 25% below the threshold that someone put on us, yet we have engaged thousands of new people in a different way by being relevant in the Scholar Circle lectures.
So the net number of people we are impacting
It's
has,
probably higher.
I'm sure.
The people that have been impacted by what High Mitzvah is doing is higher than when we were just worried about the 100 groups. There you go.
Well,
That's the statement
they're
we
not
need
apples
to
and
make.
apples. They're not apples and apples.
They're
I
not
mean, we have-
apples to apples, but when
Right.
we compare numbers of participants,
Yeah, but
if we used to say we had 100 groups and on average, did we say 10
10 to a
participants per
group.
group?
Good idea.
That's 1,000 people.
Yeah, but Michael,
But no,
I gotta
there's
push
no
back on
and.
that. But those people engaged, what Jill was saying, in very meaningful community building. This is people that are listening to a lecture. That's
So
different.
it doesn't
But
matter.
yeah,
See, in my mind, when you're going to present statistics, you remember I used to work at the hospital here and as an accountant, and the numbers spoke.
Mhm.
The numbers spoke. This is what we did. And when you think about the number of people, yes, they were engaged. It might have been for an hour, but how many of those people came back for another lecture? How many people went to someone and say, hey, I listened to this lecture. Let me share it with you. Let me tell you
Yeah.
what I learned. So
Mhm.
the
That's
number of
We don't know the
people,
ripples.
plus how
we
many of
don't
those
know
people
the
are now doing our virtual groups? There's some spillover
correct.
as well.
So when we would give the number of participants, which we can't really do well anymore because participants aren't registering,
Mhm.
we can give a quasi number, but we can tell
Mhm.
you how many people came to these lectures. So the number of people that are getting involved in high mitzvah in a sense is
Yes.
higher. There's more people
Yes.
coming to our website. Our social media has grown. So those are the statistics that the board needs to know. We pivoted in the world of COVID and after October 7th. So you know me, I will go at this because I'll walk into that boardroom and say, the numbers don't lie. You can't we can't be compared, or we cannot live up to the standard of this 100 group anymore. The world has changed, but this is what we've done.
Yes, we've incorporated a lot of new activities and things
Correct.
that have
You know,
definitely
what,
so.
what I
But it
would
does.
what I would guess is that the people, okay, people in my groups, okay, they're feeling good and all that. And they may talk to a couple of people afterward, but the people going to Scholars Circle are engaging. They're doing their pop. They're enhancing their passion one way or another about, anti-Semitism, and they're empowered and informed so that they can have informed discussions in their community. And they,
And
so
and
our buggy department, we're slowing down in our buggy department, but in our EV department,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
But the other thing too is we're also in more places than we've ever been by people attending these Scholar Circle lectures, by them coming to virtual, because they're not just in the New York, California, Florida pockets New Jersey pockets that we've always been in. We've got Australia, we have people from Germany, we have people from there's another country that because I have it all listed over there. And we're in 37 states. We have people coming from 37 states to the Scholar Circle lectures out of 50. Now, so we have broadened who we are.
Yes.
So those are the statistics the board needs to see and understand. And I've got them.
Good.
And so that's why it's taking longer to do it this year, because all of this, but
yeah.
These are the things that we're not sunk. We're just
Different.
We're different. We're different.
So I want to ask all of you Jill's question. So what's the next big thing, do you think? What is the next big thing? Just what do you think?
What do you mean by the next big thing? The next thing we should tackle, or what's gonna come down in the world? I'm not sure what the next big thing
I
means.
think we have a good pulse on where we are now, which is we are a I mean, I see us as a very divided Jewish community. I see there's people who, I mean, and we're going to be with my family. They either are disparaging of Israel or they are irrelevant, or Israel, what's going on in Israel is not particularly on their mind, like 24/7, like it is on my mind and Arlen's mind and probably all of us minds because of who we are. We are deeply engaged Jews. For the deeply engaged Jews, I think for most of them, Israel, what's happening in the Middle East, and anti-Semitism, not vaguely, but like just really diving into this is like number one on their minds right now. And that's what they talk about, where the conversation goes. And I see people who are deeply engaged. that's where their efforts are right now. Like, you know, the political situation, how does it relate to Jews? How does it relate to Israel? I mean, people are very hyper focused on that for the engaged Jews. And then there are the unengaged Jews that I think maybe they have a vague sense that they need to like think about why they're Jewish. But and I know there's statistics that people are coming back, but they're either antagonistic to, I don't know, but I feel like we're a divided Jewish people and that we're not speaking to each other well. And maybe this isn't the time, like, because as I say, I think we're in existential crisis right now. I think Israel's, you know, so, but that's not going to last forever. We've been here before, you know, we've been here through the Holocaust. We've been here through expulsions and pogroms and times of, you know, really serious problems for the Jewish people. And we're in that moment. I think we're in like another moment like that. But we've gone out of it, right? And we flourished and we will flourish again. So where will we flourish? What will we need?
I don't know if that question can be answered right now.
Right.
That's not yeah, I don't think it's something we could answer because we don't know.
Good thing
Nobody knows.
Oh, good thing we can
Huh?
pivot. Good thing we can pivot when it happens.
Right. But I guess what the point I think I have to make to the board is that this moment of time is won't last forever. And this is how we've pivoted for this moment of time. And this is what we think. I think that Jill, you're right, that people still need to connect as community and will need to be and do need to be nourished. And I think we're taking a stab at that with this 10 stronger. I'm not sure we're going to be successful because I think we have to work really hard on getting these 10 commandments, something that people really want to dive into, like that are relevant. Like, you know what I mean? I think we have a long road to kind of, Mussar is relevant. You know what I mean? It's softer. It's mindfulness, meditation is relevant. 10 commandments is like heavy.
Yeah, and you know, it's
Mhm.
um uh Nina, what is kikar? Does that mean direction or compass or something? Kikar, ikar,
Ikar
Ikar
is
means
car,
like
a
core.
thing. Your
Yeah.
core.
core, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what resonates with me in terms of the Ten Commandments, Ten Commandments makes me think of Charlton Heston, but
Mm-hmm.
compass, how,
Mm-hmm.
what's your true north in a
Mm-hmm.
world where you know you
Mm-hmm.
can't find the mother lode? You know, how do
Mm-hmm.
you find your true north?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of.
That's actually in the intro in an Aseret. The cover of the teen intro is kids with a compass.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Maybe that's why it's coming to me because I've seen it.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I think we have a great opportunity, and if we do it right, this 10
Mm-hmm.
times stronger can be a really wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. But the language away from commandment to things like that. What is your true
yeah,
north? Where
absolutely,
we, you
absolutely.
know,
And
yeah,
we know that
we're working on it. We're working
we're
on it.
working on it.
We're trying
Yeah,
to get them talk about verbiage and talk about, yeah,
yeah,
pedantic. Like that is Nitzan.
yeah. Yeah, but
Anyway.
I think he's kind of coming around to it, but what
Mm-hmm.
he thinks is
Mm-hmm.
lighter and what we think is lighter
Mm-hmm.
might be. I think what we need to do in that situation is have a lot of different layers and throw them all
Mm-hmm.
out there and see what
Mm-hmm.
catches.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And I,
think
Okay.
go on, sorry.
We need to wrap up soon because I don't want to take everyone's too much of time, but any,
I mean, I know
uh,
what resonated with the teens when I was doing a series is the you be the judge and the debates, you know,
uh-huh.
that they, and I think that we can do that at any age, you know, that they want to weigh
Mm-hmm.
in on and
Mm-hmm.
relate, directly relate.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I'm saying this, not just because I'm a liberal or I'm a conservative, that gets political. It's because this is the commandment I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Anyway, so is there a meeting at 10 as well, an additional one?
Well, we're supposed to talk. I think we do need to talk. Well, you have to go, right?
I can
Yeah.
hear the baby downstairs now. They just
Yeah,
got here.
yeah, yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
Because if Reb Deb's not going to be with us and it's okay. Um, I don't know. Do you have anything to add? Just for the Michael, so let's just wrap this up for a second. Is there anything else, Jill, that you haven't said to us that you'd like to say?
I don't think so. It's been a privilege and an honor. I mean, a one that I felt like I didn't fully deserve. And really, it's been transformational for me. And I will absolutely continue to use IECA materials, you'll see.
Oh,
Um,
high mitzvah, high mitzvah, high mitzvah.
I miss, yeah, yeah. I miss,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh,
So thank you.
uh-huh.
Thank you very much for giving me that opportunity. And, just to think real hard before you get someone else on board. But
Yeah.
maybe you do. Oh, that
Mm-hmm.
crying already. Just got in the
Uh,
crying.
okay, you need to get to the baby.
Well,
Yeah,
it's fine.
I would like to wrap up where you are with the interfaith, just so we have a good sense of what you've done and where you are. And get access, make sure we have access to the list of interfaith groups that you have. So do you have a moment to just wrap that up, or do you have to go now? Or you want to?
Yeah, I do have to go now,
Uh,
but the
uh,
list is in Google, but I will write things up.
okay,
I will by
okay,
the end of this week, and I know I need to give
okay,
you a book report, Nina.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. All
Thanks.
right, that's it.
It's only
Thank you
Leah
so much,
Trout.
Jill. And really, it's been amazing to work with you.
Oh,
Truly amazing and wonderful.
thank you.
So,
All right,
okay. All right. We will be in touch then. And thanks so much for all your comments today. It was great. Took
you
good
bet.
notes and it's recorded for Red Jill.
There you go.
All right.
Okay. Be well. Enjoy the kids.
No, she left. All right.
Okay.
Am I all set?
You're all
Yes.
set.
All
You're all
right.
set. I actually need to take this call that just came in.
Okay, go
Are we
ahead.
meeting at 10?
Uh, just call me back when you're finished with the call, or I'll hang on or whatever. You want to
Uh,
take the call?
I'll take the call. I'll call you back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just mute.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
I am back.
Yeah, it's back on.
I think they will.
Where's the headphone? Oh. Wait a minute. Okay.
Mm.
That was interesting. That was good.
Yeah, it was interesting. I feel like it was good to hear her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was anything. I mean, I'll turn this warmer. I don't think it was. Did I stop recording? I hope so. Oh no, I didn't.